ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pets of the Mind. I am your host for today, James Phoenix. Joining me over there is Chriz the Mole.
Hello.
And today, the two of us are here discussing Season 5 of a show that we've been reviewing as we've gone along here once upon a time. The first half of Season 5 that has aired thus far, episodes 1 through 11. Of course, the show resumes in March with the second half of Season 5. This half of this, I guess, a half season, as they like to divide them, is primarily based in Camelot. King Arthur, Guinevere the Court, Merlin, all that good stuff like that there. Although somebody else called it the arc of the supposed Dark Emma. I'm using finger quotes. You can't see that.
It's the Camelot saga.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what I'm going to call it. Like I did in the last one. I'm like, because she wasn't dark for all of it, whereas stuff to do with Camelot resonated throughout the whole saga.
Until the last few episodes, yeah, that's right. Technically, with the sword, yeah, technically it did. You're right.
Yeah. When they did what some people might call an homage to Buffy and Angel.
Was it?
If you see, with the way it looked.
Mm-hmm.
As she stabbed him through the chest, it looked like the same. It was the same camera angles and stuff. It's when Buffy ran Angel through with a sword.
Okay.
The circumstances are different because she had to run Angel through to close this portal so the world would live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't he already undead? Wouldn't that have not really hurt him?
Yeah, but by doing that, it essentially sent him into the Hell Dimension.
Ooh.
And the part that makes that more enjoyable is he was Angelus at the time, right? As he goes to get sucked into the portal, you see his soul come back.
I
know, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, the first half, the Camelot saga. Next, the Underworld saga.
Indeed. But it's more than just the Underworld saga. Because I was just looking, I opened the page, I was looking at some of the episode titles of the upcoming episodes, and something that I had been noted in an article, I think, will be happening, because I noticed up of episode 18 is entitled Ruby Slippers. Which means I think the report that I had read that another arc we're going to be seeing is Zelena back in Oz dealing with the returned Dorothy Gale trying to depose her with some other characters might also be coming true. So maybe that's just going to be a side story. Maybe they're trying to bait another spinoff. I don't know.
Or it could be, if it's called Ruby Slippers, another thing could be they have to go to Zelena to get the Ruby Slippers because we've already seen Dorothy in this. And this one thing the Slippers did is allow you to return home with no place like home. So therefore, they could be the magical artifact to help them come home, sort of like how they used the beans last time.
That is possible. That's true. Although that's going to be Ruby Slippers. That's interesting, though, because it was shown the slippers were actually, I think they were the original silver slippers when we saw them on Dorothy, I think. Only because they had that issue of the copyright, because MGM owns the film and they were the ones that made the slippers ruby, so nobody else could do that without permission. So either the title's a cock tease that they're not going to be able to cash in on, or they got permission to use the ruby slippers.
Yep. But one thing that needs to happen in the Underworld is we totally need to see Kate Beckinsale. We're obviously reprising her role as Selena. Popular series, well, not that popular, but a series of movies, Underworld.
Oh.
The vampire film.
I haven't seen any of them.
You should.
Fair enough.
Some of them are bad, but some of them are really good. Well, not really good, but watchable.
Fair enough. I think it's more watchable than other supernatural films. Let's put it that way. I'd imagine it's more watchable than, say, Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you're going with this one. You just have to go into the action mindset because you're going to be disappointed if you expect them to be proper horror vampires and werewolves.
I haven't expected proper vampires and werewolves since Twilight.
This was before.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was years before Twilight.
Okay, fair enough. Anywho, that's back into season 5. So, of course, premise going forward, when we last left our heroes at the end of season 4, Emma had sacrificed herself to mitigate the darkness that was attacking Storybrooke. Specifically, it started attacking Regina, and she sacrificed herself to it, this darkness having been freed from within the heart of Rumpelstiltskin. And it absorbs Emma and turns her into the new Dark One. And we open the season seeing another simultaneous event where the group remaining in Storybrooke, who are unable to summon Emma with the dagger, speak to the sorcerer's apprentice, who informs them that they must go find the sorcerer himself, who is the only one who can help them now. And his name is Merlin. And they have to go and locate him, so they make a journey to the kingdom of Camelot to find Merlin, where they meet King Arthur and Guinevere and the knights and yada, yada, yada. And we juxtapose what appears to be the present, where Emma is completely Dark One. She's brought him back to Storybrooke, and the memories are wiped for the umpteenth time. Juxtaposed with the events that happened apparently over the last 6 weeks that no one remembers in Camelot, leading to where they are now, which was kind of a little bit different, a little bit cool.
Yep.
So,
though, one thing we did see in this series, which annoyed the hell out of me, I didn't like any of the Dark One stuff.
Yeah, it was. I like the concept of the Dark One stuff. I just felt that it was poorly executed.
I didn't. I fucking hated what they did with the Dark One. Because, go back, look at Rumpelstiltskin in season 1 when he became the Dark One.
Yes.
It's based off his personality at the time. He was a little bit of a coward and stuff, but that just gave the same guy confidence, so he's treating him how he was treated. And he's always looking for deals and stuff because he's a coward at the end of the day. So he's looking for the way that's like you know what I mean? Like the cheap way out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all based on that. Now it turns out, no, fuck all that. It's just a possession. It's just a possession instead of that. And now there's like a shitload more Dark Ones and all this, and how they act seems different to how they did in the previous seasons. And then what they did with Hook, and I'm like, oh, fuck off. This is all stupid. Why? No.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about all the Dark Ones. Fair enough. That was. I like the idea of how the dark magic first came about. How Merlin was the originator of the good magic. His love Nimue was the originator of the dark magic because of she came into the darkness because she wanted revenge on the people that destroyed her village and killed her family. And I liked how that was the origin of the dark magic. That part I thought was cool. Then all these Dark Ones are still inside, yada yada. That was kind of out of left field.
How about when they saved Robin Hood from death? And I believe they used dark magic. The Fury came from. They do the same thing to Hook. No Fury. What the fuck? No.
True. I believe the deal was that they saved Robin, but no price was paid to save Robin. Whereas in the case of Hook, I guess becoming the Dark One was the price. I guess.
Yeah, but when they erased it from his mind, so he didn't suffer the price.
True, but it wasn't his price because he didn't ask. That's the other thing, is no one asked Emma to do it. Emma did it of her own accord. Emma only helped Hook because Regina asked her. And because Regina asked her and it was a request, there had to be a price. But if Emma was doing it for her own means, there was no price.
But that seems stupid. That seems completely stupid.
Well, that's just how I understood it, because, even with Rumpelstiltskin, if Rumpelstiltskin could use his magic to do whatever he wanted for himself, to be bounce around and be hilarious and do things like that, but if somebody else asked him for a favor, they had to pay a price.
But, as Rumpelstiltskin says, he can't just do whatever he wants with his magic, because all magic comes with a price. It's literally quoted over and over again.
Yeah. I think his price is being trapped. I think the price of the Dark One is being trapped within the darkness, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I don't know.
To be fair,
that was just how I understood it as they explained it in Camelot. Of course, Robin Hood gets injured in a fight, and they have to save him. And he gets attacked by a Percival of the Round Table, who recognizes Regina, who burned his village down, and he gets pissed off, tries to kill her, and Robin Hood takes the blow. But yeah, my understanding was that was a request, and as a result, there had to be a price. But what Emma did for Hook, she did of her own love for him. She did for herself, and as a result, there was no price to be paid, as I understood it. Whether that makes sense or not, I don't know, but that was the explanation.
Yeah, which how the hell did Regina kill somebody? How the hell did Regina kill somebody's village? That makes no sense.
Well, I believe it was on the flashback. She was the evil queen. She brought her men in, and she burned the village down because she was evil, or they wouldn't give her Snow White, or whatever.
Yeah, she wouldn't give her Snow White. But if you remember when Snow White actually got told about Excalibur by Rumpelstiltskin, he mentioned, no, that's in Camelot, which is nowhere near here.
Well, we don't know how far the kingdom reigned, and the fact is, we only know that it was Percival's village. We don't know if Percival's village was in Camelot. When his village got burned down, he could have moved to Camelot.
That's stretching.
Eh.
Especially considering either way, with him saying it's nowhere near here, how the hell did he get there?
He tracked, and the other thing you have to remember is that even when he was revealed to be the evil queen, even Arthur Guinevere said, "All right, we know who that is. We never met him, but we know who that is from reputation and who you are. But if you're the savior now, quote unquote, we're willing to forgive that."
Yeah, it's like I said,
so they at least heard of her.
Yeah, which seems weird. Yeah, which just like I said, it just seems weird. It's like that. It's like one season they introduce something about Camelot, like I mentioned with the sword and how it's far away from this kingdom and stuff, in a completely different kingdom and stuff like that. Then suddenly, a few seasons later, like, you know what? Let's just use it anyway. Fuck it, and they just basically change their mind.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Which it's like they're making this shit up as they go, and I understand that's how TV works, but you need to at least have some element of continuity between what you are doing.
Mm-hmm. It could be worse. It could be lost. I think some of the same people work on this show, and that show made no goddamn sense at any point in time. They admitted they were pulling it out of their asses.
I would make the case that's not a defense.
Not that it was a defense. I'm just saying that's what it was.
I know. I'm just saying that's not defensive. It could be worse. They're not this one. That's like saying, it could be worse. Bill Cosby's not Jimmy Savile. It's still fucked up what he's doing.
True. But yeah, so as we go through the adventure, we see that the Dark Emma is attempting to do something in town, and we don't really know what, and she won't tell anybody. And so they go on a journey to try to reclaim their memories, having had them wiped just after walking into Camelot with Arthur. So as time goes on, of course, we find out a variety of things, that Arthur was actually kind of a dick, and he became obsessed with reuniting his sword. He felt that Merlin was lying to him. He used some kind of magic dust shit to brainwash his wife into loving him, even though she really loved Lancelot, and then he banished Lancelot. He tried to use the same shit on Snow and Charming, and try to turn them on him, and Merlin broke the spell and whatnot, and all kinds of craziness. They freed Merlin from the tree, but Emma had to be a huge bitch to do it, and rip out a 14-year-old girl's heart and use it against her own son, which was kind of evil.
And that's not Merlin.
Yeah, that was a very different interpretation of Merlin.
That's not Merlin.
Fair enough.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we've seen a young Merlin before now in, the TV show Merlin. But for example, with that one, that was always a prequel. Which is before King Arthur and stuff. After King Arthur, with how this is meant to be and how he's meant to be the Merlin, a legend at this point, he needs his beard. He needs his beard. He needs his hair. He needs to be old man Merlin, because otherwise, that's just completely stupid.
Which is a fair argument.
It'd be like doing Charles Xavier as someone who's walking and with dreadlocks, because fuck it.
Yeah. My name is Xavier, man. Sorry.
Yep.
Anyway, so we see the Camelot kind of degraded quickly, and as Regina posed as the savior, it didn't totally work out. Emma ended up. What happened at the end is Emma ended up giving into the darkness, even though she had fought it very well and had really overcome it. She ended up giving sort of quote unquote giving into it because unfortunately they found out that Hook had suffered an injury from the sword Excalibur, and dark magic can't heal stuff from Excalibur. It's got power over the magic. So the wound opened back up again as Arthur managed to unite the dagger, which it turns out the Dark One's dagger is a piece of Excalibur that was broken off and used to imprison the dark magic to tether it to a soul. As Arthur binds Merlin to Excalibur in the same way using Zelina's magic, they of course end up having the good magic versus evil magic fight, and as you know, with the binding of the items, Hook's wound opens again, and so she manages to bind him to the sword in order to save his life, but it in turn turns him into a second Dark One. And in order to hide it, feeling that I'm the only, that one of the recurring themes of Emma needs to trust in everybody else. She can't be a loner. She decides to be a loner, and she washes everyone's memory as the curse goes into effect, and brings everybody back to Storybrooke. She wipes everyone's memory, including Hooks of him being a Dark One, which doesn't make a whole goddamn lot of sense to me if you think about it. And that's where we are now until we get back and Zelina manages to, because okay, she wiped Hook's memory of him being a Dark One. Fair enough, I get that.
Okay.
But you're overlooking one thing. Even if his memory's wiped, he is still a Dark One. So shouldn't like Rumpelstiltskin and shit be appearing in front of him and trying to make him do evil shit?
Should. But I think it was more of what she was going for is because he doesn't know about it and because he doesn't get hurt and stuff like that, she's been keeping all of that from him.
Maybe.
And my guess is if he doesn't know it, he's not tapping into the Dark One, which is his inner voice.
True, which is that does make a certain amount of sense.
And of course, Rumpelstiltskin undoes it all in 2 seconds.
Yes, of course. As we get back to Storybrooke near the end, we find out that as Merlin said, Nimue is the only one who could truly stop the darkness. We find out that the darkness originated with Merlin's true love, Nimue. Merlin found the magic by drinking from the Holy Grail that he found in a desert a very, very long time ago, about 500 years. And as he did so, he became magic, almost the original of good magic, and he created a paradise around him that became the Enchanted Forest. And he used his magic to help people and heal people and do good things until he met this woman, Nimue, who he fell in love with, and they were happy together. But she had resentment because her village had been burned down and attacked by this evil asshole. I don't remember his name. It's not important. But basically, she was lost her family in the village. She wanted revenge on this dude.
I
And
believe that was the evil Emperor Zurg.
That would have been awesome, but no.
Fact.
Sure, fact. Go with it. So she wanted revenge, and Merlin wanting to live with her and not wanting to, being that he's immortal, outlive her and have to watch her grow old and die while he remained young forever, and not wanting her to suffer the curse of, even though you have all this magic, being young forever and having all the magic isn't what it's cracked up to be. Merlin decides to forge the cup into a sword that became Excalibur that he could use to sever himself from the magic so that he could be a normal human and he could grow old together with her. But unfortunately, before he does this, she drank from the cup behind his back and gained magic. And when she uses it to kill the guy that ransacked her village when he shows up, the magic in her turns dark, and she becomes the original Dark One, the proprietor of all dark magic. And he managed to use a piece of the Excalibur to bind her to the dagger later on, so that with the darkness bound to a soul permanently and able to be controlled, it wouldn't run rampant. And I did like to at least give the nice nod of his other role in that when they showed him in the past as when he first got the magic and he was in the village and was helping people, his apprentice was wearing a red robe. The apprentice when he was a young boy. That was kind of cool. And yeah, so we find out all this backstory. And we end up back in the present where Hook finds out he's a Dark One because Zelena reveals all the memories. And then Emma gives everybody else's memories back when she realizes she can't do this alone. Even though I guess she can resist the darkness. And as Hook apparently, what's that?
What was his previous role? You said his previous role, and I said, what was his previous role?
Wait, what? I didn't say previous role, did I?
You said it gave a nod to his previous role, and I said, "Oh, cool." I mean, you mentioned the red robe, and I'm like, "Okay, what was his previous role?"
No. The what I mean is the fact that in addition to being just Merlin of Camelot, he's also the sorcerer, and so the kid was wearing the red robe like Mickey.
Oh, okay.
That was what I meant, not for something else, but I meant the fact that he served as he was both Merlin of Camelot and in place of the sorcerer again, Sid, because that would have been a little too on the nose even for Disney. They used the sorcerer with the red robe as a second nod after, of course, the older sorcerer later on got turned into a mouse.
Good point.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, another little sort of reference. That was cool. But
so when you said his previous role, I thought you meant like in another TV show, like he's famous for wearing a red robe and something. I'm like, oh, cool. What was that?
No, I know that would have been cool too, but no, I just meant that the role of the character, not the role of the actor.
My bad.
But yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fact. Anyway, so as of course we get back to Canada, Hook finds out that he's the Dark One, and apparently finding out you're the Dark One basically just means erasing your character development for the last season and a half. And you're just a pirate now. And he proceeds to, of course, challenge the crocodile to a duel on his ship to the death. And he says, I'll let you, I'll have Excalibur here so you actually have a weapon that can kill me. And he goes through all this crap, and he's going to summon, Nimue is now manipulating him to do this plan to summon all the Dark Ones back from the underworld to take over. And he manages to get some blood from Rumpelstiltskin because Rumpelstiltskin died and came back to life. And so he needed that blood to open the pathway to the underworld at the lake, the Misty Lake, where he opens it, and all the Dark Ones come back from the underworld, and they tag Emma and the Charmings and all their friends to go back to hell in their place as a soul exchange. And I don't mean the Yu-Gi-Oh card. And
what's stupid about this?
Yes, well, several things are stupid about this, but go ahead.
We never see one of them touch Rumpelstiltskin, yet he gets the same mark.
That's true. He got touched off screen. That's true.
Which I kind of feel like him man going, yeah, I was touched too, and I had to do all this. Would have been more impressive if you showed him get touched.
Yeah. I think I admit that scene was still awesome. So what do we do? I suggest you spend the last time with your loved ones, because we're all going to hell, or whatever he said like that, or something. He said something cool.
And then he jumped into his big pile of money he keeps. Fact.
Okay, then.
He's Scottish. He walks with a cane. Just saying.
You're not wrong.
Just saying. Just wait. One of these episodes, like when he goes against Hades, Hades will turn him into a duck. If that happens, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing and be hysterical. Oh, and then now I get a message back from Pew. Oh, yeah. Perhaps Pew will join us shortly. At any rate, of course, after Hook summons all the Dark Ones and they start taking over, they tag the others to get sent back to hell with them. As they're being, dispatched to hell, Hook realizes, no, he can't go through with this. His love for Emma is still stronger, and he sucks all the darkness back into himself, all the Dark Ones inside of him. And Emma, who retrieved Excalibur from Mr. Gold previously, who had it in his shop, which should have been a red flag in the first place.
Runs Hook through to kill all the evil at once, and it turns out Mr. Gold had actually set that up as a, like, I don't know, you'd call it like a channeling thing, or transporting thing, however you worded it. Yeah. So instead of going into that blade, it just all goes right into him.
Yeah, it's the blade was disintegrated. Instead of destroying the darkness as it would have if you killed the final Dark One, instead of destroying the darkness, it channeled the darkness back into him, making him, I guess, the Super Dark One.
I believe the term now is Super Dark One Beyond God.
Fair enough. We even see this later on when Emma, who is still has a tie to it from having been the Dark One, her darkness is broken when the whole thing with Hook goes down. she senses the dagger and she finds that Rumpelstiltskin has the dagger, and it's now a new dagger, which I will admit looks pretty cool. Where instead of just his name carved in black on the silver blade, the blade itself is now black, has a black background, and his name is raised into silver on it, which I thought looked really awesome.
And it is kind of cool though to see Rumpelstiltskin, a man with a limp tricker, because that actress, it's rare to see that actress portray a really kind-hearted, good individual who's tricked by I don't know what you'd call it, but convoluted, evil, bitter man with a cane. It's good that she's not typecast.
Indeed. So yes, of course. And so with the darkness channels back into Rumpelstiltskin, but Emma refuses to let Hook go. She's going to do whatever. It's true love, like her parents. She's going to do whatever it takes to get it back, and she manages to, now knowing Rumpelstiltskin's dirty little secret after he once again, was supposedly good, and Belle forgave him, and they got back together. Decides to fuck it all up again, and we go back to the old blackmail of, oh, well, Rumple, you're going to come here and you're going to open the pathway to hell for me. You're going to come with us and help me get Hook back, or I'm going to tell Belle that you're an evil bastard again and always.
We're not using video, Pew.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, that's okay. And basically, Rumpelstiltskin agrees, and they open the pathway to hell with another sample of his blood. And the Charmings, Emma, Robin, Regina, and Rumple head down to the underworld to find Hook and bring him back, and probably confront Hades, and if you've seen the trailer, a lot of other previous villains in the process.
And if you've already guessed, I'm guessing Belle will probably get left behind.
Probably.
Poor Belle.
But don't worry, they'll find some messenger that can return to Stormy from the underworld to send her on a task for Rumple so she can appear in an episode.
Yeah. It'll be Neil.
That'll be Neil. Oh, man.
He's going to be in the underworld.
Yeah. As much as I'd like to see Neil again, I feel like that would be a slap in the face.
He was a car thief.
No, I don't mean that. I mean it'll be a slap in the face that, oh, I'm going to save my true love Hook. Oh, hi, Neil. Fuck you. I'm going to save my true love Hook.
Hi, Neil. Oh, you come to save me. Yeah.
I just feel
About
like
that.
a lot of things were wasted this season.
Okay, well, we've been talking for a few minutes. Pew, why don't you give your thoughts on the season? Things you like, things you didn't like.
Tuck becoming the Dark One.
Okay, fair enough.
It just seems like a whole waste because he's already gone and done the evil thing, turned in good and stuff, and now we're pretty much doing it again just for it to be taken away again, and we'll go back to him again, and it's like we already done all this. It's not very particularly interesting. We got the whole Dark Emma thing, but then she wasn't really dark, but then and just, I don't know. I just feel like this was
Dark
kind
Emma.
of,
She's more like bleach blonde Emma.
like I said, it was kind of meh Emma, and then Arthur was like, oh, I'm Arthur, but I'm actually Dick Arthur, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was weird.
I will admit, I'm not totally keen on what they did with the character, but I really like the actor that plays Arthur.
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck? And then Merlin was like, hey, by the way, I'm one step from becoming Shazam. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, why would Arthur be evil? Like I've mentioned in the past, that's kind of annoying because they did the exact same thing.
Like they don't treat some of the legends and stuff respectively.
Yeah, it's like one's cool, but if you keep doing it, it's not that cool. It's not that cool a twist anymore.
Yeah. And also, I don't like how they kind of just the Charmings were more apt to give up so quickly. That was kind of weird. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, well,
okay.
the Charmings have officially been relegated to a side character that's obligated to be there, but that we don't have to write for.
I know, but it's just like, okay, we're gonna totally give up now.
The Charmings are designed to just show up every now and again and go, family.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of this was just underwhelming this season.
Yeah, and to remember every 3 to 4 episodes, oh yeah, we have a baby. We should probably put that baby in a scene.
Yeah, and the other stuff along the lines of mention true love.
Yeah.
Family, like you said, baby.
The
And
hardest stuff is
the
they'll be like, hey,
Joker,
I'm gonna have this baby. Like, here you go, thanks. Like, and also you're gonna be in the underworld forever, and we're gonna be fucked. Okay. Well,
yeah, and they're also there to show up every now and again and remind people Hook used to be evil. Because they'll look at him and go, oh, the Hook.
Yeah,
yeah.
that too.
Even though it's really silly, and it's also really silly how often those two get separated, despite the fact they always claim they'll find each other. They don't always find each other. Sometimes they only find each other because someone else has intervened.
Yeah.
That too.
Each other. That's been moved to each other.
Yeah. They're also there to remind us, oh, hey, do you remember us? Did you remember back in the seasons when we were relevant, when this town actually had a population?
Yeah.
Do you remember Snow White with a weird haircut? And do you remember the fact this isn't actually the first Prince Charming? There was actually another one who turned out to be a dick, and then he died, so here's a farmer.
Pretty much. We're going to mix in the Prince and the Pauper story.
Yep. Would have been so much cooler if it was the Man in the Iron Mask.
Ah.
Sadly, I believe that was a real story.
Yeah, this whole season was just, I don't know. I didn't like it particular, or at least half season, because whatever.
You had to at
This
least
is-
like the bit where Hook grabbed hold of basically the Charmings and like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, all the way to the birdie boiler.
Hmm.
So that's possible that didn't happen. It's also good that they finally showed not Snow White, Red Riding Hood again.
Yeah, they realized, oh, that was a popular character. We should probably bring her back.
And then
just
they
to say
mentioned, then
goodbye
they,
for her to
then
forever.
they mentioned, yeah, she's still in the other place. She just didn't come. It's like, oh,
Yeah, she
thanks.
left because she wanted to go find other wolves, and now she's hanging out with Mulan.
Yeah, even though we already covered that story during the season with her in the episode that was about her. If she didn't need wolves to be happy, she was happy with who she was.
But now she's not.
Yeah, fuck it.
Here's the thing, a lot of stuff that was already resolved in this season they're bringing back, and is also somehow unresolved again.
Yep.
So, yeah. I feel like this whole season was or half a season at least, was kind of a waste.
I know.
I'm looking forward to who's playing Hades.
Yeah, I don't know the actor. I know you've seen the actor and stuff.
I have in like
That could
Ali
be
McBeal and
interesting.
stuff. He's awesome. Like I said, it says it all. When the second I announced it to Simon of who the actor was cast, his response instantly is "Fuck yes!" And I'm like, yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
Don't get me wrong, it's possible they could fuck it up, but it's
Yeah.
it's like they've cast the perfect actor for the role.
Yeah, it
Which
does
is
seem
good.
cool.
I don't like
Hades, so.
I don't like the High School Musical looking Hercules and Megra.
Yeah.
That's making me go, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Kevin Sorbo, he ain't.
Huh.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be more Hades, and Hades will be like, hi, kinda, sorta.
Hey, if earlier today Cartoon Network could announce that Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are both back in their respective roles to play Batman and Joker in Justice League action, Kevin Sorbo could be back to play Hercules. Thank you.
Nice.
Whew.
It's also super topical. Because that news actually did break today. Boom.
Nice.
And then of course, we also had Merlin, whose acting was somehow more wooden when he wasn't a tree.
Huh.
Thank you.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, I'll admit I kind of like this Merlin. Maybe it was just me. I'm one of those people that's willing to suspend the oh, it's supposed to look like this, and to at least give it a shot. And I thought it was kind of cool. At the very least, appearance aside, I thought his demeanor and everything. He had that very, I'm mysterious and I'm magical and I'm wise type. The demeanor and the behavior was accurate if the appearance was not.
I argue you're only like that with stuff you don't give a shit about.
How so?
Well, if I was to say to you, well, that's meant to be Power Rangers, and literally all they were is people wearing like kilts of different colours.
They're
You're
Scottish
not,
Power Rangers.
yeah, but you're not gonna be like, oh yeah, that's amazing. You're gonna be like, that doesn't look like Power Rangers.
Fair enough.
I mean, I
You
do like
literally,
the
you've literally
Nimue
said that
thing
with people
idea.
with you've literally said that with costumes people have done for fanfic, and it's like, okay, but why does that get more of a why? And it's like, yeah, because you don't give a shit about Merlin or King Arthur.
I mean, I
I
just like
don't
the
know.
Nimue idea. I thought it was interesting, but then I thought, like, oh god, like, I feel like any good it was, it kind of got messed up with the whole, like, now all the Dark Ones here, and, like, now he has, like, all the Dark Ones dagger, and now, like, all of the Dark Ones this, and it was like, it'd be cool if it was just her, you know, instead of every Dark One ever now, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
And
I was like,
just once out of all of this time, since they always like to use soundtracks and shit, just once, when Mr. Gold becomes the Dark One yet again, the next time his powers are taken away and brought back at the end of the season, can we please just have the song the Sound of Silence playing of Hello Darkness, my old friend,
Yes.
come
there
to
you
talk
go.
with you again.
Mm,
It just
there you go.
fits.
It does fit.
Or a leak counter, ching, ding, number 4, or I don't know.
Something.
You know what I'd
But
like to see one year?
what?
You know what I'd like to see like next year or the year afterwards? I'd like to see Rumpelstiltskin not be the Dark One.
Uh-huh.
And I'd like for him to come up with an ultimate plan to become the Dark One again. Then be like, aha, I'm the Dark One, and realise it hasn't worked. And he's like, what the fuck? And then it turns out Belle screwed him over because she's sick of it.
Ha! That'd be
And
awesome.
now Belle is the Dark One.
That would be different and awesome.
And if you've ever seen Roswell, she can play evil.
She could play evil, and if you've ever seen Lost, she could play batshit crazy too.
And if you've seen Roswell, that's crazy.
Fair enough.
She literally killed Tom Hanks' son.
Okay then. And in Lost, she wandered around in the jungle for days and days and days with a baby doll, pretending it was a real baby.
She literally killed the son of a guy who was on an island for days and days and days, walking around with a volleyball.
That doesn't work that way.
Craziness is hereditary.
Okay then.
It'd be cool to see something different going on with the Dark One thing.
It would be a little bit different to see something going on with the Dark One thing. But I do like how, at the very least, they, all the darkness went back into him, fair enough. But the darkness didn't erase the darkness, because that way, I feel like whenever they decide to end this show, that's going to be their end game, is the darkness is going to return, and it's going to have to be, Nimue, the original Dark One herself. The only way that the darkness will stop is if she herself comes to terms with the darkness and realizes that she can truly be good, Merlin's love, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that's the only way to truly stop the darkness. I feel like that's going to be the end game of the series.
But didn't they kill her?
No, she was one of the other Dark Ones. They were all sucked into Hook and then channeled into Rumpelstiltskin.
But they're all like technically in that one dagger now.
They're all in that one dagger. I believe they were meant
Super Mega Dagger.
They were all meant to have been killed, and all their darkness was then channeled into him.
Okay, maybe. I didn't think they were killed. I thought it was just because I thought it was just they themselves, because they were technically spirits. I don't know if they were necessarily alive, but they were all their spirits of darkness were within him. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just thought my understanding was that because it was the darkness itself, Nimue herself was the darkness. So I don't think Nimue can be killed because she is herself the darkness. But whatever. It's too confusing.
Yeah, this show just needs to end with Rumpelstiltskin turning into a bear and getting a honey pot stuck on his head.
There you go.
That would be the best ending ever.
Then taking it off inside his store and just going, oh, bother.
Yes.
That's how I feel about this show. Oh, bother.
Oh, bother. All honey pots come with a price. Credits. Thank you.
Might as well.
Wow.
Because I don't think that would annoy people enough.
Yeah. Well, they're going to come up with something because, okay, they brought in Hercules. They're starting to run out of Disney properties to pull in here.
Hello, there's a whole Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh God.
You could have the Dark One with an Infinity Gauntlet.
I'm gonna run out of my amount that I care. Mm.
You could have Mr. Gold with an Infinity Gauntlet, a Venom symbiote, and a red lightsaber.
Oh my.
This is like I said, this has nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think at this point we've reached the point where it's time to end the video. Final thought.
Why have we reached the point where it's time to end the video?
Because I think we've pretty much covered everything we want to talk about for the season.
Fair enough.
Because I need to go get food, unless you've got to keep talking while I'm gone.
I'd say I give this a big sad face.
Yeah.
Like 3 or whatever.
Let's just say this though. Are we? Yeah. Go ahead, Mo. You can give it a watch, avoid, whatever.
Okay, I was waiting to hear what you were gonna say.
No, I was gonna just ask everyone. Also, your feelings on the upcoming second half of season 5. You excited for the Underworld? Do you think it's gonna be good? I know Pew. I think you missed out the part where we were mentioning it earlier, but there's a potential side story going on in Oz. Of Dorothy coming back as some kind of warrior to fight off Zelina or something. So there's an episode. There's an episode titled Ruby Slippers. So there's something with Oz maybe going on as well.
If that's in Oz, will J.K. Simmons be reprising his role?
Unless she has the ruby slippers as a fist and she punches him in the face, I don't care.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens there. I'm wondering if they might be trying to bait another spin-off like Once Upon a Time in Oz.
What did you say, Jim?
That is what I said.
Oh, you said something when I said, well, if it's in Oz, will J.K. Simmons be reprising his role?
I just said nice.
But yeah, my final thoughts were, wasn't terrible, to be fair. Plot holes, yes. Stupid stuff, yes.
Yeah.
But what was there was still some enjoyability out of it, and it wasn't like I was watching going, oh my god, this is the worst shit I've ever seen. So that was pretty good. That was pretty okay. And when it comes to the second half, I'm more excited for that, just for basically who's playing Hades, because that's going to be amazing.
That's going to be pretty amazing. If I were going to rate it, I would say it's certainly not the worst thing we've seen. It's not the Neverland arc, but there's been better in this show, and I feel like I feel like they need to remember that the reason this was so popular in the first place, it was an ensemble show, not just about these 6 people that you decide to put in the show. I'm glad you remembered Ruby. You still got Belle there. You've got Mulan. Great. Let's remember everybody else who lives in the Dwarves came back this season. Let's remember everybody else who lives in this town. Where's Jiminy? Where did Geppetto go? Where are all the other people who live in this town?
Wait, before you say that, I will say, to be fair to the show, that the dwarfs lampshaded the shit out of that this season.
That is true.
Because they literally showed up and said, hey, we're fucking sick of being side characters here. Can we be main characters again, please? That was almost their exact word.
It really is.
And one of them was like, oh yeah, and by the way, whatever happened to Jake from Neverland Pirates? And they're like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. And I'm like, oh, okay. But what about Grumpy's girlfriend, who was a fairy, who was totally very important and was played by Fred from Angel? Yeah, we don't talk about her. Fine. Tinkerbell? Nope. Who do we talk about? Jiminy Cricket's dogs over there.
Oh, Pongo. Anyway, yeah. So I'm hoping that if anything, what they do, obviously we know they're bringing back a lot of the villains for the big 100th episode that will be the premiere coming up, episode 512. And I'm hoping that maybe when they get back out of the underworld, which I'm assuming they're going to get back out of the underworld,
they're going to get out of the underworld, but it's going to leave them trapped inside the enchanted forest. However, don't worry, because in time for the new film coming out to hype up that, inside this is partly a general prediction, they'll be in the enchanted forest, but they will be helped out by a boy, a talking bear, a cat, and stuff like that to hype up Jungle Book, and they'll do a Jungle Book arc.
Maybe.
It wouldn't shock me if they did a Jungle Book arc straight up, to be honest with you.
Because I was thinking, you come from the underworld into the enchanted forest. You're in a forest, do it.
Yeah, we could do that.
I could see
But,
that.
yeah, overall, I'd say I'm looking forward to the second half. It's going to be better than this half. This half had some good spots, but it had some bad spots too. It could have been better. I think they kind of blew it on the Dark One arc a little bit. But looking forward to seeing what's coming up. And this has been our look at the first half of Season 5 of Once Upon a Time. Thank you two for joining me.
Pleasure.
And Don't forget to stay tuned tomorrow, folks, where we're going to give our final awards for the year, our year rewards, and also we'll have the next episode of Pew's Awesome Radio Play Scores No More.
Woo!
So we'll see you tomorrow, folks. Peace.